and privileged to be invited to this conference that speaks directly to the issues that concerns the country, our peace, our unity, and the future of our nation. The theme is timely and is profound. For every Nigerian, diversity is not an abstract concept. It's what we experience every day, positively or negatively. We're a nation of different faiths. I'm a Christian. A lot of you here are Muslims. Our brothers and relations who are Muslims, and so also most of you here, you have your relations, your in-laws, your sisters, your brothers who are Christians, but we are a Muslim, and we have to live together. We have different languages. In my state, we have about 54 tribes. I was celebrating my diversity until last day I was in Taraba. And they told me that they have much more than my state in terms of languages. Different cultures, different traditions. But we are bound together by shared history and common destiny. My tribe, the Ngas people, are believed to come from Borno State. When we left the Kanem-Borno Empire, we left with the Quran. And every year at our annual celebration of my tribal Ngas people, we bring out that Quran before they start the celebration. This is a culture of hundreds of years, but still celebrated by our people. It shows how common and how integrated we are as a nation. The question, therefore, is, before us is not simply whether Muslims and Christians can live together. The greater question is, what kind of nation are we building by the way we live our lives? For me, I came here into this conversation not as a new person to diversity. I've experienced the painful part of diversity, and I've experienced the beautiful part of also the same diversity. I grew up in Yobe State, and my father is a pastor, and his best friend was the chief imam of Nguru. They call my father Limanin Krista. Anytime we come around, they will say, Yaran Limanin Krista, so and so. They were men of different faiths, but their humanity brought them together despite their differences. They visited one another. We saw the love, the beauty of parents, of leaders of different religions coming together to meet and bring us together. During Salah, the Imam will invite my father. He will come with all his children to his house. We journey celebrate together. During Christmas, my father will invite the chief Imam to our house. He will come with all his children. We will celebrate together. To me, that was the beauty of how humanity should prevail over our differences and diversity. The experience taught me something that remained even throughout my life till death do me part. Religious differences does not have to produce human distances and separation because of our beliefs. That's the kind of religion and parents that brought me up. And that's the culture I will live and die with, that I will not treat somebody different because of his religion. My understanding of this lesson became much deeper when my father was transferred to Bauchi in 1991. Bauchi experienced a devastating crisis. As a young person, I was my fatherly in the university that time around. I experienced the crisis not from the pages of newspaper, but from within it. My family virtually lost everything we had. Our house was burned down. Our neighborhood was burned down. both Christians and Muslims lost their houses. Where Christians were dominant, Muslims lose. They lost everything. Where Muslims were dominant, where Christians were dominant, the Muslims lost everything. Out of fear, even people who were safe in their houses left their houses to the barracks. I became a displaced person. I lived in the IDP camp for some months. Our fear became common. Our suffering became common. We all lacked food, whether we were Muslims or Christians. We didn't have a place of worship, whether we were Christians or Muslims. We look so foolish as we look at ourselves. We, the young one, were playing football together. Our parents were busy beefing themselves. We, the young ones, were happy to play football together. We quickly forgot what happened. But our parents and elders were carrying the grief within themselves. I learned a lesson from there. I witnessed something that remained permanently etched in my memory. Both Christians and Muslims were in the IDP. We had different places of worship and different religious identity, but in that moment of suffering, none of these differences could protect anyone from the consequence of our actions. We're all displaced. We're all afraid of our homes. We're all hungry. And that makes all of us human beings. And that's the humanity in us. The experience taught me a lesson that I've never forgotten. When violence comes, it does not ask whether you're a Christian or a Muslim before it destroys either your home or your humanity or your dignity. The foolishness that creates division does not ultimately spare the people whose name it is committed in. Sometimes they commit it in the name of religion. But at the end of the day, it doesn't spare anybody. Sometimes it's committed in the name of tribal diversity. At the end of the day, it spares nobody. All of us are victims. Standing in the barracks as a displaced Nigerian, I came to understand something very simple. We may worship differently, but we suffer together. We dream together. We can build together. And ultimately, we can rise and fall together. And I ask you today, when did being a Christian or Muslim become more important than the humanity in us or the Nigerian in us? And perhaps the most important question also, can we truly claim to be people of faith if our faith does not compel us to protect the life and dignity and freedom of those who worship differently from us? If your religion does not protect the dignity of other human life, then you are not practicing a religion. Nigeria faces a serious challenge from terrorism, banditry, farmer-herder conflicts, communal violence, ethnic suspicion, religious intolerance, hate speeches, and the manipulation of identity for political purpose. That goes to most of us who are politicians. We weaponize religion. We weaponize division for political advantage, temporary advantage, but it leaves permanent identity and dent on our lives. I know through justice, education, responsible leadership, dialogue, and moral courage, we can make a change. And if I believe that every human being is created by God, I cannot make another person my enemy simply because he prays differently. Our faith should make us better Nigerians, not make us distance ourselves from Nigerians. Distinguished religious leaders, you possess the immense moral influence in our communities. I know what my father and the influence they had during the Metasine crisis in the early 80s. My father and the chief imam had an impact in securing the communities. You as religious leaders, let our mosques and the churches become centers of peace, of reconciliation, and responsible citizenship. Let us preach faith without hatred, conviction without content, and truth without incitement. We can preach truth without inciting people. To me, that's the hallmark of teaching as a religious leader. To our political leaders, let us resist temptation to exploit religion or ethnicity for sentiments for temporary political advantage. No political victory is worth the permanent damage inflicted on our nation, and we've been seeing it every day. To our traditional rulers, let the moral authority of our thrones make reconciliation stronger than retaliation, and dialogue stronger than suspicion. And to every Nigerian, when you hear a lie about another tribe or religion, ask yourself, will I repeat it? Will I question what has been said? And where possible, are we living in Nigeria where diversity is understood as a name for strength or weakness? We need a moral commitment shared by our religious leaders, political leaders, traditional institutions, and citizens. A covenant that says we will not use religion to justify violence, and we will reject hate speeches where it comes from a pulpit or a mosque or the palace or political platform or the keyboard of our social media. We will protect every place of worship. We will defend every vulnerable community in Nigeria, and we will teach our children that the Nigeria we praise differently is not our enemy. Let our mosques, our churches, become centers of peace and reconciliation. Let us build a Nigeria where a Christian can protect a Muslim, and a Muslim can defend a Christian, and every Nigerian can stand for the dignity of another Nigerian, not because we share the same faith or ethnicity, but because we share the same humanity. If we can achieve that, diversity will of course cease to be a source of fear and become the greatest strength of this nation. In conclusion, I've lived through the consequence of division, and I know how painful it is. If you don't live in an IDP camp, I don't want you to even think of it. Don't dream of it for any other person. I was there for 3 months. I know how it feels. You wake up, you don't know even your source of food. Sometimes for 3 days, you don't have water to take bath. You live in fear every day. And I've seen what it takes away from you, your dignity. I therefore urge us to choose a Nigeria where our children inherit schools, they inherit homes, they inherit opportunities, and not inheriting displaced camps and memories of violence in their lives. That is not the Nigeria we must build. That is the Nigeria we must leave behind. And that is Nigeria we must choose together. Let's choose peace over violence. May the Almighty God bless the Muslim World League. May God bless our religious and traditional rulers. May God bless every Nigerian who works for peace. And all of you are seated here should work for peace. And may the Almighty God continue to bless and unite and protect the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you.